You see, we are not altogether pure. We have to be purified. In our intentions and our spirit, we have to be purified to get victory. It'll take time, but inshallah it's working. It'll work. Like it happened here in Rhodesia. They got the independence. But for 12 years, Smith, with his 250,000, he had the whole of Africa. How many? 200 million Africans at bay. Or 300 million Africans. Hey, you bloody rubbish, keep out. Keep out of my country. And 250,000 at that. So it is the armament, the weapon, that did the job. Same thing here, 300 years, the guy ruled us. 300 years. What did it? Is he more than you? No. Is he stronger than you? No. No, it's the weapon. He had the arms. So, fortunately, thank God, the Russians said, well, we'll help the ANC, and Libya says, we'll help you, and so on says, we'll help you, China says, we'll help you, and over a period of time, we got our independence with all this help. One day, inshallah, the Middle East will also come right. Any other question? Yes.
Sorry, sir. You just mentioned the Chinese and the Russians and all
and the
Libyans, and Libya and all these
right.
people coming, promising aid to the ANC and helping them to liberate the oppressed. I want to come to a point here that is, do you expect the same thing to happen in the Middle East? A country like Russia with an army of about 400 million, it's a very strong army, I know about them, and I also know that there's about 80 to 90% of their soldiers is Muslim.
Yes.
About 80 to 90% of the Russian army soldiers is Muslim, because there are a lot of Muslims staying in Russia. And I've learned, as you might possibly know, that in the book of Ezekiel, the prophet prophesies about the Russian army coming up against Israel, assisting the Arab nations surrounding Israel to overpower, to, in actual fact, win the war they many years want to win. That is to get Israel out of, to get the Jews out of Israel. What I'm saying, Mr. Deedat, is this. Is that war going to happen? You know that Ezekiel in the chapter 38 prophesies about that. Is that war going to happen? Do you expect America, as you have just said, to intervene and help the Israelis in that war?
You see, my son, I don't live in false hopes. These prophecies. People have been waiting for Jesus Christ to come. Do you know that? For 2,000 years. It was any time now. He said, before you go over the cities of Israel, I'll be back. He's telling his disciples, when they persecute you in one city, flee into another. And they persecuted, flee into another. And before you go over the cities of Israel, I'll be back. And they fled, and they fled, and they died, and they rotted in their graves. 2,000 years have gone, and it still hasn't come yet. So, I don't believe in waiting with open mouth for somebody to come along and pull the chestnut out of the fire for you. We have to learn to do it ourselves, to get the things ourselves. So, time will come, but we don't sit on prophecies. See, the Christian was waiting and still waiting, 2,000 years now, for Jesus Christ. He said, before you go over, I'll be back. So, same thing happened to the Jews in the book of Exodus. God speaks to them. He says, I declare to you this day that you shall surely perish. You shall not live long in the land which you are going over the Jordan to cross and to conquer. You will not live long in that land. That's your Bible. That's a prophecy. But I said, tell the Muslims, I said, no, don't wait on that. You have to learn to get the things that you want. You have to pay for it. You have to sweat for it. Don't wait for things to happen from heaven, because heaven doesn't work that way. It wants you to sweat, and God will give you the reward. Any other questions? This will be the last question. This will be the last question.
Mr. Deedat, I've got a simple question for you. Since the duty of dawah to the people is an obligation upon the Muslims, and we find that there's an opposition from among our Muslim brothers that it's not good to do so. Is it because they're ignorant about dawah, or they want to live in peace with the non-Muslim brothers? If not, then why is that like that?
You see, to me, we are not told. We are not told. Nowhere have I found the Muslims in the Muslim world telling the people, go and do dawah. The alims, I'm talking about the alims. They'll tell you about the beard, the size of your beard. Yours is not standard size. Me too. I'm here on the same boat as you. You see? So you're wearing Nasara clothes? Me too. You see? So we are busy with that. Nobody is telling you to do dawah. This is the awwal fard of the Muslim, the first fard. Long before Salat, Zakat, Hajj and Sawm became fard, Allah tells His Rasul, our Nabi Kareem, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Holy Prophet Mohamed. And through him He's telling us, He says, فَذَكِّرْ إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مُذَكِّرْ. So you deliver the message, because it is your duty to deliver the message. لَسْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ مُسَيْطِرٍ. You will not be questioned regarding them. إِلَّا مَنْ تَوَلَّى وَكَفَرْ. Why they accepted or why they didn't accept, Allah won't ask you. He will ask you, did you deliver the message? And if we can say, Ya Bari Ta'ala, we tried to the best of our ability. If that was very little or great, whatever, you tried, Allah will say, my Jannah is open for you. He will not ask you, why didn't you do like Ahmed Deedat? I'm telling you, He won't ask you that. Why didn't you like Maulana Razak? He won't ask you that. He said, did you? Say, yes, Ya Bari Ta'ala. What little I knew, I tried. It's good. But if we can say that, I don't know how many of us can say that we tried. We are not trying. We're not talking. We are not told. The alims are not telling you from the mimbar. They must tell you from the mimbar. Me, this is my job, my occupation. So what can I do? I have to talk about these things. Say, I'm making money. This is my occupation. We are worth 20 million. So the guy is very lucky. Huh? Yeah, that's a very lucky fellow. No, my brothers. There is a law at work. There is a law at work. You have to pay the price. See, all what I was telling you, I can give you 20 different languages. Do you know that? Exotic languages. The language of the Dinka, which nobody heard. Even the Sudanese don't know. They are at war with the Dinkas. They are like the Zulus in southern Sudan. John Garam is a Dinka. I learned his language before going to Sudan. I learned Swahili. I know Indonesian. I know Malaysian. I know French. And I'm trying to learn Italian now because I got an Italian book of the Pope. So I'm going to learn Italian. So if I meet an Italian, I says, you know, His Holiness the Pope, he says, but I'll be telling in Italian. He says, so some of the most beautiful names in the human language are given to the God of the Quran. Beautiful, beautiful. Did you read the Quran? So, get started, man. You see, if you want to deliver a message, you'll have that. To do something. That means you're paying the price. By the way, I didn't bring you to show you people. These are all the cards. These are all the cards. This verse I read to you tonight is huma fil ghari, is yakulu li sahibihi la tahzan inna allaha ma'ana. What? I'm learning. At the age of 77, I'm learning. Are you prepared to make that sacrifice? No. You just see, say, the guy's very lucky, man. Hey, he's got a nice jetta. No, my dear brothers. There is a price you have to pay. Anybody, everybody. There's nothing for nothing in life. You are a parasite if you expect things to happen to people throwing down manna and salwa from heaven. Allah doesn't do that. God doesn't do that. Those days are gone. You have to sweat for whatever you get. So, this, Jazakallah. Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the talk for the evening. I'd like to thank you for coming here this evening. More than that, I'd like to thank Mr. Ahmed Deedat for a very informative talk. And before we close this evening's proceedings, a dua would be read.
Al-Fatiha. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا يا كريم. اللهم من أحييته منا فأحيه على الإسلام ومن توفيته منا فتوفه على الإيمان. اللهم إنا بما سأل منه الرسول من خير فقير وما استعاذ منه الرسول من شر نستعيذ. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. سبحان ربنا رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.